The recording is started. So what is the so how much Python do you know currently? Tell me that, please.
Only the basic things like that was in the C. We also know that in the Python, and
Okay.
only in that portion.
Okay, cool. And where do you write the Python codes?
Uh,
Google
on
Colab. Google Colab. Uh,
Google Colab. Okay. And
uh,
others?
I, editor
Python.
also.
Uh,
ID.
which
Python ID.
Python? Which ID? Python's which ID?
I have downloaded it from website python.org website. Na, is there
Okay. Okay.
because I have 11th, 12th. There is Python in my course,
Okay.
so I have downloaded that ID.
Okay. And others? Any more places where we can run Python code? Okay, no problem. So Rajasi was talking about Google Colab. Does everyone have idea what Google Colab is?
yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
we have in the lab also.
Okay, that is very good. So Google Colab is actually a web-based Python IDE, right? And it provides you some GPUs and CPUs on which you can execute your code. So today what we will be doing is we will be learning about data pre-processing. Now, what is pre-processing? Can anybody tell me? Like in a general sense, what do you think when you hear the term pre-processing?
Like in the C, we before the compilation we do the pre-processing, like changing the macros and hashtag defines. We replace those with and those inlines also get replaced. And after this, we go to the compilation period. We know that pre-processing only.
Yes.
Organizing the data.
Yes. Meaning, before moving on to your machine learning model or moving on to what whatever work you want to do with your data, what you want to do is you have to do some operations so that the machine learning models or the data or the tasks you want to do are mostly error free. They don't give you the biased or bad results, right? So this is called data pre-processing. So to learn data pre-processing, each and every one of you will be given this data pre-processing collab file, this ipynb file, and this contains step by step of how we get a data using API call and how we can build a data set from that. I will be explaining to you all the steps, and after that there are some assignments. So my next class will be on 10th of January. In between there will be other classes. So on 10th of January you can show these assignments what you have done. This is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes.
what is a data set firstly?
A collection of data.
Yes, a collection of data organized in rows and columns. So we need to create a data set. Most of the time, has anyone done any work in machine learning?
No, sir.
No. Okay. In the
Sir,
internet, you
I have
yes,
done a little in MATLAB.
in MATLAB. So you have used a data set, right?
Yes, sir, regression learner using.
Yes. So where did you get the data set from?
Sir, actually, under Professor SKL, sir, I have done a project that's sir provided dataset from steel plant industry.
Okay. So mostly you get the data sets, right? And those are in very,
Excel sheet.
yeah, in
Yes.
CSV format. Those are in very beautiful rows and columns format. But can we create
So
our own
sometimes
data
we
set?
use JSON format also, na, for
Yes.
creating data models or data sets.
Yes, we can
JSON.
use that. We can use JSON, but now we will be using CSV, and JSON will come into the picture, and I will be showing you how we can convert a JSON into CSV as well. So let's start creating our data set. So to create our data set, what our objective is, we will be pulling some data from this site api.openmeteor.com, and we will be hitting an URL with these parameters, and the API endpoint is this. I mean, I want to access a forecast, weather forecast service. So can anyone tell me what I am trying to do by seeing these lines of code? That what data am I trying to get?
So we are trying to obtain some temperature or measure temperature, latitude, longitude of particular place of precipitation.
Yes, we are actually trying to get the temperature, humidity, the apparent temperature, the amount of rain, the surface pressure, and the cloud cover of this location. This location is basically the coordinates of NIT Durgapur. So, and we want to collect data for this time period. So let's do one thing. We cannot, we have to hit a URL, right, for getting the data.
Yes, sir.
So let's create a URL builder. First we are defining our data, what we want to do. Then we are making a URL builder. Now you don't have to get scared about these codes, these Greek and Latin looking codes. Let me break it down for you. So parameters.keys, let's start from here. This means that, first tell me what data structure is this parameters?
Dictionary.
Dictionary. So dictionary stores data in what format? I am looking for two words.
Keys and values.
Yes. So parameters and dot keys gives me the set of keys my dictionary has, and I am converting that into a list. List is nothing, it is just an array. Now what I am trying to do is, I am trying to iterate every key in this list of keys. It is clear till here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now I am doing a small string manipulation. Let A be one key. So what I am doing is host front slash endpoint question mark. So if I do host front slash endpoint question mark, what I will get? I will get this front slash this question mark, and then what I will do is I will join every key and its value with equal to, and join that set with ampersand, meaning I will get latitude equals to this, ampersand longitude equals to this, ampersand hourly equals to this, ampersand start date equals to this, ampersand end date equals to this. So let's define the function, and now I will create the URL by just calling the function, and let's see what the URL is. This is the URL. Now I am pasting this into the Google Meet chat. I would request everyone to follow this link and tell me what you are able to see. You can share your screen. You are free to share your screen.
It's giving a kind of data
Can
like
you
date.
can you please share
Yeah,
your screen?
yes, sir, I'm sharing.
Yes. Okay. So are you able to understand anything by taking a glance at this data?
So there is some latitude, longitude, and generation time,
Yes.
and after all, these are dates and dates.
Yes. And then there are
Longitude,
values and values, right?
yes, sir.
So this is the data which is in JSON format, and it is not that much readable, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what can we do in order to make this readable? Does anyone have any idea?
Sir, we can copy these things and paste some JSON viewer.
Yes, we can do that, or we can make the entire data into a row and column format, that is a CSV.
Is a comma separated values.
Yes. So let's take the second route. Let's go for CSV. So for that we need some libraries. First library is requests, which will request my URL, and second library is JSON, which will perform operations on JSON format data. So let's import these requests, these libraries. It's taking a bit of time. Okay, this is taking a little time. I guess it is due to some network issue, but we have at last imported our libraries. And now what we will do is, firstly we will do a get request on the URL. What is a get request? Anybody?
So fetching data from the URL that we have got on the website.
Yes, we will be fetching the data, and then what?
From the URL parameters.
Yes, basically the URL we synthesized, we will be fetching the data, and then what we will be doing? We will be converting this response to plain text, that is normal string, and we will be printing that for the time being. So we can see that we have got some data, and we are able to fetch that data to Python. This is clear, right?
Sir, can you please repeat? Just network issue.
Yeah, sure. What we are doing is we are fetching the data stored in this URL, and then we are printing the response text, that is whatever response they are giving, as a string.
Okay, sir.
Now we have the data, we have got the data, but the data is in a very haphazard fashion, and we need to organize this data so that we can visualize it, we can do pre-processing, and then we can analyze it, and finally we can run some machine learning model on it. So in order to do that, we need to convert it to rows and columns, just as I said. But for that, firstly we need to store this string somewhere. So that somewhere must be a dictionary, because JSON is also in key value format and dictionaries are also in,
key value format.
yes. So we will be storing a JSON string into a dictionary using json.loads. This means load string. So what this function does is it loads a JSON type string into a dictionary, and then we are just displaying that dictionary. And as you can see, there are a lot of none in here. None is nothing but the Python equivalent of null. However, we have got our dictionary, and what we need to make a data set, which key do we need among all these? Can anyone tell me? Which key contains the entire data?
Hourly.
Hourly.
Units.
No, units contains only the units, like in which unit the data is expressed, like the temperature is expressed in degree centigrade, humidity in percentage, but hourly it contains the actual data. As you can see, hourly goes on and on and on and on until you reach the end. However, as you can see, there are a lot of none values, and we will be taking care of them very soon. But before that, what we will be doing is we will be seeing what data do we have inside the hourly object. Till here it is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
So what are the data, what are the columns we are getting from here?
Time, temperature, relative humidity, apparent temperature, precipitation, surface pressure, and cloud cover.
Yes, so these are all weather data, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So let's do one thing. Let's print these into a CSV. Again, this is a slightly larger piece of code, but don't need to get scared. We will be going through it step by step. First, what we are doing is we are creating a file object. Everyone is acquainted with OOPS concepts, right? Objects and classes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we are creating a file object, and there we are opening a new file called dataset.csv. What is the full form of CSV? Anybody?
Comma separated values.
Yes, comma separated values. And if you put the CSV inside Excel, then all the values are splitted by the commas. And here we are using W. This means write mode. Write mode means we are writing to this file. Now we are first going to create our header row. Header row means the first row where all the column names are written. Now here what we are doing is, again we are taking the help of join, and we are just, can anyone tell me what this does? Only the highlighted portion.
All the key values for the hourly parameter that is in the
All
API. call I'm making.
Yes. So which values are is it printing?
Actually, it is the same that was the previous line.
Yes.
Is in the mouse pointer pointing the time, temperature,
Yes,
and this
exactly.
is the
So you get the values separated by commas, and then you go into the next line. And then what we are doing is in these keys, I mean, we are iterating through this list. This is nothing but we are iterating from 1 to the length of this list. And what we are doing is we are writing the values, like joining the values of these. As you can see, we are joining the values of these keys for the ith column with a comma. Is this clear or should I repeat?
Sir, one thing. In the first dataset underscore file, we are taking the full dataset in the CSV format,
Yes.
uh, and the dataset is empty at first.
Yes, it is empty at first when we are opening it.
And
We are creating a new file. If it does not exist, then we are creating a new file.
okay, sir. Then we are creating the first row of our 2D table.
Yes.
We can think, and those are the header of the 2D sheet.
Yes, the
And
Excel sheet. You
after
can call it as Excel sheet, even though it is technically not an Excel sheet. It is a CSV.
and we are the adding the backslash n because we can ship we want to ship that in the next line, and after
Yes.
that we are getting some data of the hourly and adding those to the data file with comma separated values, I think.
Yes, we are just joining the values of each row with comma.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so let's execute it and we will get our dataset.csv. Now if I refresh my file browser, we will be able to see the dataset.csv. I will just double click this and expand this a little bit, and as you can see there are a lot of none values in here, and that is quite unfortunate because we need data. We don't need null values, we need some data, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we need data like this, we don't need null values. So what should we do?
Is not an L. Is not a number or something like that. Is an N.
Yeah. Yes, we can use is nan, but we will use is nan later in another example. Currently what we are doing is we are just removing these using filter. Now before that, what we are doing is we need to import this CSV file, right, to Python. We have a file, we don't have the file inside our code, we just generated a file into our file system, so we need that in our code now, right?
Yes, sir.
So for that, what we need to do is we need to read the CSV file, and there we take the help of a library called pandas. So pandas contains a function called read CSV, and we are reading dataset.csv here, and panda converts that into something called a data frame. So let's see what the data frame looks like. So it is sort of an Excel format, right? But we have none values, but this is now currently in our working code. This CSV file contents are currently in our working code. So we need to create a working data frame, a data frame with which we can work. So what we are doing is we will just select the code, we will just select the rows which does not contain any values which are none.
Okay, sir.
Can anyone explain this condition to me? This is a simple boolean expression. Can anyone explain this expression?
Yes, sir. That is, we are equating to not is equal to null, and we are taking the data frame, and index is our the column header, that is time, temperature, relative humidity. We are just taking those data from the data frame into our working data frame, which neither have value null. So we are doing by it and.
Yes. So we are just equating that this column value must not be none, and the second column's value must not be none, and the third column's value must not be none, and so on. And we are extracting all the other information into a data frame called a working data frame. And let's see what a working data frame is. This is our working data frame, and you can see the data frame in an Excel type format. And now we have got an assignment for you. What is the assignment? Firstly, you have to create a collab file and make the original dataset as given above. And now you have to do the following. What you have to do is, you have to see, is there any row which contains only some none values. In some columns there are none values, not in all columns. Understood the first part of this assignment?
Yes, sir. There may be rows which contain one null or two null, but not contain all the null.
Yes, you need to find, is there any row. Now if there is no such row, then you need to create some. Fine, you can import it into Excel and create, or you can use some code to generate. 1 minute. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So what you must do, you need to if there is no such column which contains all none, then you need to create some rows like that. And the third thing is, give me another way in which you can handle the null values, the missing data, instead of just deleting the entire record. These three assignments are clear, right?
So the last one is not clear.
Okay, so what we did to just remove the data which are missing, like take care of the data which are missing.
We are taking those data sheet and we are taking the data and filtering it out to our working data sheet by some conditions.
Yes, basically
We can fill it some other default value like 0. Fill in and something like that. The pandas.
yes, you similarly you have to show some other way in which we can take care, instead of actually we are deleting the missing values, right? The rows which contain missing values, we are deleting them. What you have to do is, you have to show me some other way, instead of just deleting the entire row. What you can do, just like someone said that you can fill in the missing values with some default values, like that. So I have a tip for you, that you have to give proper comments to your code. This is because every one of you is working hard for placements, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So when you go to a company, the code will be shared in a common repository. Now my code can be worked on by somebody else, and you can get somebody else's code. So I would recommend you to give good comments, good documentation for the code, so that it makes it easier for the other person to work on your code. Or if you get a well documented code as well, like if you get this code, you can, after reading a little bit, you will be able to work on it, right? Because it is well commented, it has everything written down. So I would recommend you to use proper documentation for this purpose.
Okay, sir.
So, the second assignment, 1.1b, we have to give random values to the rows. Means we have to
Yes,
create new rows and we will give random values in the code, or we have to just open the CSV file and input the rows.
it is up to you, but you need to create some missing data. I mean, with where some columns have missing data, no data, some column contain data. Now, how you do that is up to you.
Okay, sir. And sir, in the C, we have if the entire row contains none values, then again we have to assume one value and give the value to that, or we have to delete the entire row if it contains all the none values.
If it contains all the none values, you can delete that. But for this case, that some columns contains values, some columns does not contain value,
Yes.
you should not
Then we
delete
can
them. Yes.
then we can give a number to that.
Yes. So you need to explain that why you are using this value, you are putting this value in the missing record.
Uh, okay, sir.
You need to give
So
reason.
we can't give random values. We have to calculate some values and then we can give that.
Even if you give random values, you should be explaining why you are giving random values. What is your reasoning?
Okay, sir.
Like you can give random values, but that should be within a range. I will be not saying that what that range is, but it should be within a range.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now let me tell you what I'm planning to do with this current data set. I will make a small prediction system, which is season prediction. That is, if you have the weather conditions, can you predict which season it is, right? So for that, what we are doing is, first tell me one thing, that season mostly depends on which thing, not I mean not weather conditions. Season depends on which thing?
Month.
Yes, the calendar month.
Yes, sir.
So we can declare that March, April, May, June is summer, July, August, September, October is rainy, and November, December, January, February is winter. Right? Agreed?
But October is not rainy season. In Bengal, maybe
Yes, so sometimes it rains, sir.
sometimes it rains. Yes.
Yes, sir. I mean, I did not give the autumn in here.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Then if you'll create a 4 to 5 class, then problem will be complex and you will get not good results. Maybe you are getting the 90, 95, 98% accuracy.
Yes, sir.
When you increase the classes, maybe you will get less accuracy, I think.
Yes, sir. So then I am giving one small assignment.
Yes, yes. Maybe they create a 6 classes. Yes.
Yes.
And check it there. What is the accuracy? It is also maybe maybe give you that assignment. Orko, hello.
Yes, sir. Create 6 seasons and check the accuracy and perform all following steps.
Maybe in that case, you should take some other data also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They can take the data from the API that has been given in here.
Yes. That's what I'm telling you.
they can take another range and they can work on that.
Yes, yes, they can explore that.
Yes.
Okay, please continue.
Yes. From another data. Okay, so this is a small assignment that you can create 6 seasons using this function only, and then you can see the data. Now what I am doing is I am creating a function to convert a timestamp into a season. So how this is working is, this timestamp, this is a string which is formatted like this: YYYY, like year, month, date, then T, which is time, and then the actual time. So what this is doing is, it is first splitting that string with T and extracting the first part, that is, it is extracting the date, and then it is splitting the date with hyphen and extracting the second part of that, which is the month, and then we are looking this up. This function working is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what we are doing is, we are now applying this function to the entire time column of our working data frame, and we are creating a new column called season. To apply to the entire column, what we are doing is, we are extracting this column from the working data frame, and we are using a function called apply, which is provided by pandas. Now what we are doing is, we are applying a lambda function. Lambda function is nothing but a single line function, where lambda is how you define means function starts, time is the parameter, and this is what the function should return. We can write the entire thing as def function. We don't need to give name in here, and then we are inputting time, and then we are returning, 1 minute, the season with respect to time. So how a lambda function is declared, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, others? Okay, so now we are printing the working data frame, and as you can see, okay, we haven't executed this step. Now after this we will execute this step, and then we will be getting this season parameter, season column, with summer, monsoon and winter. You can explore this by pressing that grid button, which converts it into an Excel like table, and you can see what are the rows, what are the seasons. One minute. Yeah, what are the seasons, then what are the data. You will be able to see all these. And now we don't have any need of this time axis, right? Because if we have time axis, then you will be getting the month, and based on the month you will be automatically getting the season, and that will be cheating, right? We need to predict the season based on the weather, so we are dropping the time axis. Does anyone have any question regarding this command?
It's like delete operation.
Yeah, it is like delete operation. Any other questions?
So what is axis is equal to 1?
axis is equal to 1 means column, like you are looking for a column, you are dropping a column which contains the header time, and axis equals to 0 will contain a number, like suppose 2, and you will be deleting the row number 2.
Okay, sir.
So let's see what happens if we execute this command.
Is it delete or they are ignoring the first column?
uh,
It is not deleting, no?
Actually it is not an in place delete, it is okay,
Query kind of delete.
yes,
Yes.
we have actually deleted this. Let's see. Yes, we had executed this working data frame. Let's just copy and see whether this was already executed or not. Yes, it was already executed. That is why it gave error, because it did not have any time column to drop. And then you are storing that inside this data frame itself. And now we can do one thing. We have to look at the statistics, the basic statistics of our data. Now there is one thing, that while converting our JSON to CSV, we applied convert to string function for each and every value. That is why what we got is something like all the values became strings instead of float or integer. So we have to make it numeric once again. So what we are doing is, we are taking the section of the data frame which contains numeric values, and we are just doing apply pd.toNumeric. Is this clear?
So
So where do
what?
we need to practice these queries for pandas?
Yes. Can you repeat?
From where do we need to practice these queries for pandas?
I will be providing you this data set, this collab file itself. You can make a copy, and you can practice any query that you can wish, like you can wish. And what I can do is, I will provide you some basic pandas filtering functions. You can go through them and perform them on this data set. Is that cool?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So what is changing to numeric, and what is the need? I did not get.
Okay, basically what we are doing is, we while converting JSON to CSV, we took each and every value as a string. So the pandas is thinking that every value is a string. Like if it is 17.6, it is thinking that 17.6 is a string. But
Okay.
we need numbers, right, to perform our operations. Like we will do some machine learning operation, and machine learning operation, what it does is just number crunching, complicated number crunching. So that is why we need to convert it into numbers. The numerical columns, we need to convert it into numbers.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay, so let's just see some basic stats of our data. And this is our stats. So using describe, we can see the stats. And as you can see, this is a categorical data. Categorical data means like data which contains strings, and it gives you the categorical data returns you the number of unique values, the top value that it saw, like which value came like which value was came more, and its frequency. And other numerical data, you get the mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, and some quartiles. Now we will be discussing later on that what a quartile is, but these are the values that you get. So
So
any,
what is in?
yes,
So in an.
NaN. Okay, NaN is not a number. Now for temperature, it is not a categorical data. It temperature does not contain cold, very cold. So you cannot count the number of unique values, and you don't need the you don't have the requirement for unique values in there, right?
Okay, sir.
So it is not a number. It is not given only.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay. Others? Any query? Because we will be going to a bit more complex part from here.
Okay.
It's okay, right? So we will now move on to something called data visualization. So now we have a data set of weather conditions versus seasons, right? And which is our working data frame. So we want to see the results. Like if if we are seeing something like this, it is not making that much sense, right? We need some graphs, some charts. We need to explain things pictorially, right?
Yes, sir.
So what we are doing is we have to visualize some data. So let me walk you through basic data visualization. For that, we have to draw graphs, and for graphs we need to import a library which is called matplotlib, and from there it contains a package called pyplot, and we are importing that as plt because I'm too lazy to write pyplot every time. So we are firstly defining the size of the paper on which the graph will be drawn. Like you can draw a graph on a sticky note, you can draw a graph on an A4 sheet, you can also draw a graph on a chart paper, right? So if you have a very small graph, in which paper will you draw?
The smallest size.
Yes. And if you have a very large graph, like hundreds of days of data, where will you draw that?
We the maximum size available.
Yes. So accordingly, we also need to define the size of our figure. So this is why we need to define something called fig size, and it takes a tuple. A tuple is nothing but a set of values enclosed by commas. So it takes a tuple of the size in the x dimension and size in the y dimension. So what is the size of this figure in the x dimension? Can anyone tell me?
20.
20, and in the y dimension it is 10. So what I am now doing is I am going to plot this. So to plot, as you know, Python is like it has commands which emulate the English language only. So plot function is just plot. And what are we plotting? We are plotting the values of our temperature column with respect to the number of rows, like the row number. Like the first value will be plotted, then the second will be plotted, then the third will be plotted, and then we are labeling the x-axis, we are labeling the y-axis, because labeling is important. And then we are giving a title, and then we are showing the column, showing the plot. So let's run this. Okay, can anyone tell me why is labeling important?
So which graph tells description about the graph?
Can you be a little more specific? It's there, but it's
Which axis represents which data? That's it.
yes, yes. Which axis represents which value? Like not value, which column? So as we can see, we have something like this. We have a data, and this is an overall graph. but we want to find seasons, right? So won't it be better if we draw some graphs based on our season?
Yes, sir.
So let's do that, and let's draw the temperature for all seasons. How are we doing this? We are just creating an array of all the classes: summer, rainy, and winter. And then what we are doing this what we are doing is we are defining the figure size, and then we are just creating a subplot. What is a subplot? Basically, you want to draw 2-3 graphs, right, in one paper. So that translates in matplotlib to subplot. In subplot, it is very easy to draw graphs. The number of rows of your entire paper, the number of columns you want in the entire paper, and the graph number which starts from 1. This is graph 1, this is graph 2, this is graph 3. So this is how you can define which subgraph you want to draw on. Then you define the title, which is nothing but temperature in so and so season. And then what we are doing is we are just plotting the data with respect to this, with filtering the thing and plotting. So how are we filtering? This is my filter. Now I showed you some filters. Can anyone now explain me what this filter is doing? The one I have highlighted on this.
Checking for a particular season.
Okay.
Yes.
So if our seasons is summer, then it will provide only the data for it will provide the data for
summer season, that is
yes.
For which the season is summer.
Yes, and then we are just taking the temperature column of that, and now we have a series, right? So we are taking this entire expression, and I was too lazy to store the entire thing in a variable, so I just picked up the entire expression and then found out its length, and then found out the range. So I got a series from 0 to the length of the series we just got, and then that was in the x-axis, the row number was in the x-axis, the value of the temperature was in the y-axis, and now we have the subplots. Is this clear how to perform data visualization for
Sir, one thing,
Yes.
the length and the data. Sir, in the x-axis we are plotting the length, and in the y-axis the data.
Actually in x-axis we are what range does is, okay, let's see what range does, right? To display anything we write print and then range. Give me one number, give me any number.
1.
Okay, someone else give me another number which is greater than 1.
10.
7.
7. So let's execute this.
Another will be 2 or something.
This is
3 parameter, I guess.
yeah, it can take 3 parameters, but this gives you a range from 1 to 7. Now if we want to list this, we just enclose it in list and see what do we get. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and this range len of something, what this provides is range. Suppose the length of my array is 10, right? So it will create something called 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, which is basically your row number.
Okay, sir.
So in that
Understood.
x-axis I have the row number.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you want me to give what range function does in this notebook? Then I will provide that.
Yes, it is understood.
Okay, okay, cool. So then we have got these graphs, and now let's just plot everything. So what we are doing is we are making another outer loop for the columns, and we are just plotting each and everything. Like the rows contain one factor, one column of my data set, and the columns contain one season. This is nothing but a modified version of this code. Do you want me to go into the depth of this, or is it okay?
So is it okay? But what will it show?
Yeah, it shows something like this. It is not visible, I understand. Let me just quickly. Yeah, it's visible now. 1 minute. Yeah, see, it is showing your temperature in summer season, then temperature in rainy season, temperature in winter, then relative humidity in summer, humidity in rainy, humidity in winter. And now you can like draw some insights from these graphs. And what insights can we draw? Suppose in summer season, let's take temperature. So the temperature is mostly in which range?
Average is 35.
Yes, if you draw a line in the middle of this shape, you will get an average of 35 degrees centigrade. Now in rainy season, that is also 35, but here the humidity is quite high. Here the humidity is quite high. It is around 90%.
Yes, sir.
And the rain peaks a lot. See, it has peaked in here, it has peaked in here, so it will peak a lot. So this is our, in this way we can, like using our eyes, we can draw some insights as to which season contains which factor, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so but there is one thing, you can see there are huge spikes, right, in here.
Yes, sir.
So any idea what these spikes or these values which lie outside of the normal range called?
Exception.
It's not exception, it is actually outlier. It lies outside a range. Outlier. So we need to remove these outliers, or else our machine learning model gets affected, because it gets biased towards the outliers as well. So suppose you have like you are practicing some maths, and in that time you see the solution booklet, and there you see a value which does not match your value, and is actually wrong, but still you learn that answer, and in examination you see the same question, and you write that wrong answer. So this is what outlier does to your model. There is also a concept of overfitting which you will learn in your machine learning classes, but outlier means there was something anomaly, there was an anomaly, right? Suppose this is the wrong answer, and you learned this, you got this question, you wrote this answer. but it is actually wrong. So you need to remove outliers. This is clear?
Yes, sir.
So to see the outliers, I have given a nice diagram here, which is called a box plot. In the box plot, there is something called interquartile range. Again, I am saying quartiles I will discuss very soon, and this contains outliers. These are the outliers, and let's see how a box plot looks like. Okay, so our box plot will look like something like this, and see, in rainy season, okay, in rainy season, where are the outliers?
Yes, sir. It is above the 36 and below the 22.
Yes. Okay, someone else, where are the outliers in when, yeah, in here, in this graph?
Below somewhere in 1009 above, and somewhere in 999
Cool, very
below.
cool, very cool. So this is how we can identify the outliers. Now we can see that there are outliers, so we need to remove outliers, and now we come to quartiles. Now what is a quartile? Now suppose we have a sorted array, right? Now this sorted array, we divide it into 4 parts: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then 1 2 is my first quartile. My second quartile will not be 3 4, it will be 1 2 3 4. Third quartile will be 1 2 3 4 5 6, and fourth quartile is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. My interquartile range is basically the third quartile minus the first quartile. So basically 3 4 5 6. What I have to do is, my lower limit should be less than this value minus 1.5 of this, and my upper limit should be this value plus 1.5 of this range. So basically 3 minus 1.5 into 3, 6 plus 1.5 into 3. This is clear, the math is clear. This is the formula which you can use.
Sir, can you explain it once?
Yeah, sure. We will take one column, fine, and we will take all the values. Okay, now we will sort it. Done. Then
Yes, sir.
then what we will do is, we will split it into 4 parts, 4 equal parts. Split that array. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Now this is my first quartile, 1 2 1 2 3 4 is my second quartile, 1 2 3 4 5 6 is my third quartile, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 is my fourth quartile. Right?
Okay, sir.
So my third quartile minus my first quartile is my interquartile range. I mean 6 minus 3 is my interquartile range, right?
Yes, sir.
Now 3 minus 1.5 into 3 is my lower bound, and 6 plus 1.5 into 6, 1.5 into 3 is my upper bound, as per this formula.
Sir, what is 1.5 into 3 or 1.5 into 6?
Okay, see, you understood Q3 and Q1, right?
Yes, sir.
So we are taking the interquartile range, which is IQR, as Q3 minus Q1, which is 3 in our case, and for 3, which is our Q1, we are taking the lower value as 1.5, like this lower value minus 1.5 of IQR, and this upper value plus 1.5 into IQR.
Okay, sir.
Okay, this is understood, right? This is clear because this is the
Yes, sir.
concept. Yeah. So let's see. These are the values we are getting, and we will just filter the outliers for this one, for summer season temperature, and then we will plotting. Should I explain this filter or is it okay?
So filter is okay.
Filter is okay, right? And as you can see, there is no outliers now, but it may not be the case in other cases as well, because when you're doing box plot, the IQR is getting recalculated based on your new data. So I will now make the entire entire data set free from outliers. So what I am doing is, first I will make the lower and upper bounds for each column for each season. That is cool.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and now what we are going to do is, we are going to generate the filter, because this is going to be a very huge filter. So you can go through this filter in your own time, because this is a large filter, and but what it is basically doing is, it is taking one season, and then it is just seeing that whether all taking whether all the rows of that season, I mean all the columns for a row of that season, is your inside the valid range, like greater than lower and lesser than upper. And then if that is the case, that it is within the range you want, the valid range, then it is filtering that. And so I have just copied and pasted it here, and we get a data with no outliers. This is your upper, like the dictionary of upper bound and dictionary of lower bound, and you can see the no outliers in here. This is fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the filter part you can see once for yourself, because this is a large filter. It will be better if you understand this by yourself, because then you will remember this logic like forever. And after that, we are just plotting everything as usual. And now you can see something that is called noise. See, you see a lot of zigzag, right? Like it's like at the back of a crocodile, right? So we need to remove this zigzag. This zigzag is called a noise.
So actually, the outliers is like changing our actual value, but what is disturbing the zigzag?
Okay, this zigzag, we are not able to understand our data, and mostly if you have a model which is prone to overfitting, Overfitting means learning every data. Then this zigzag will affect it. So you need to remove this zigzag and make it a smooth line. Like if you draw a line in middle of this, whatever line you are getting, you need to make a line like that.
Okay.
So here you can see outliers again, but that is, I said this is because again they are calculating new IQR and they are showing, but our outliers are removed. You don't have to be scared from this. Now we will remove noise and we will make a smoother curve like this, as you can see. This noise removal is very helpful if you work with sound processing, because your background sound, like in active noise cancellation headphones, I guess most of you will have active noise cancellation headphones. So they run some algorithm which perform this thing, this noise to normal sound.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so one method of this is moving average. What is moving average? We take some data, a chunk of data of n rows. Let n be 72 in our case, because 3 days. I am taking a window of 3 days, and I am just performing the average of this and storing it in the last. And then I am taking next 3 days from here, from the next one. I am taking 3 days and storing it in the next column. Again 3 days, store. 3 days, store. So this is how, what I am getting is a smoother curve, because we are averaging the data. If we increase the window, we will get more smoother curve like this. But more smoother curve means the machine learning model will not learn that much of the features. So 3 days is a safer bet, and we are just automating the generation of the entire smooth data frame using logic which was used earlier as well. And you can use this code to just handle the non-categorical, non-numeric values. It will just give you the, instead of moving average, it will give you the maximum occurring categorical data in that column, in that window. This is clear? And now let me show you one thing. In the first 72 there is NaN. Can anyone tell me why?
Because there is no, because these are not number.
Yes. Why?
This can be a NULL value or any other value.
No, we removed NaN values.
Okay, yeah, we have.
The
This
logic
can be
I
string.
no. The logic I said that I am taking 72 and 72 at a time, averaging it, and then putting it in the next row, right, in the end.
Blank, okay. In moving
Yes.
average, we don't have a first 3 column blank.
Yes, the first 72 rows are blank. So this is why we have NaN. So someone is saying drop NA. Who was saying that? Someone was talking about drop NA in this meeting.
Yes,
Yes. So now we are coming to drop NA to handle the NaN columns. NaN rows, and the NaN rows are gone now. We can see that using just smooth data frame, and they are gone. And let's plot this. And now you can see some graphs which are good to see and easily understandable, right?
Yes, sure.
Like you can show this to any person and tell them that this is the trend that you get. So we are now ready to classify our data, but we are forgetting something. Let's check something. What can you get from this graph? What can you see from this graph?
We are grouping it into 3 categories.
No. What can you see from this graph? Like from this graph, tell me that. Any insights? Any data? Anything interesting? We have a lot of data for rainy season. We have very less data for summer season, and we have a little bit more data for winter season. So what we can do is we can so what is happening is, basically, suppose you are a student, you are preparing for joint entrance exam, right? So this means you have studied a lot for mathematics, you have studied a very little bit for chemistry, and you are studying a little bit more for physics. What will happen in your exam?
I will perform as my preparation.
Can you be a little more specific, please?
Yes, because I have practiced more on math. I can do all the math questions, and then I can solve some questions of physics and the place in chemistry.
Yes. So similarly, our classifier has prepared more for rainy season. So what it will be doing is, anything it is seeing, mostly it will say that is rainy season. Even though it is summer, it will say yes, it is rainy season. Fine. So this is called a class imbalance, and these are the minority classes. Now we need to remove class imbalance. What do we have to do? There is something called SMOT. In SMOT, we are generating new data points. Like nowadays you have generative AI, right? Before that, this is a 2002 algorithm. It generated data points. How? Suppose this is a data point of my class, of my minority class, suppose summer. Okay. Now what I will do is, I will tell him to search 3 or 4 or k nearest neighbors of this data point who are summer. So it will search. Up to this it is clear. It has searched. And now what it is doing is, it is joining each data point with a line, and it becomes something like this. This shape is clear now. That using SMOT we can generate new data points for minority classes, and then we have balanced class. We have a balanced class. Fine. So there is something else called ADASIN. You can look that up, and that is another assignment for you. And then we have decision tree. In this decision tree, only one thing, let me tell you, that summer we have to encode each thing as number. So summer has to be encoded as 0, rainy season as 1, winter as 2, because machine learning models, what I said, does advanced number crunching, nothing else. And then this part, this train test split, this all can be delivered to you in your machine learning classes. you will be having some machine learning classes. So, and after that you can see that we have got a very impressive score of 99%. So we have some assignments for you, and you can submit those assignments by 10th of January. So this is all from my side. I know it is a
Yes,
I
I
know
have
it is a
to.
bit heavy. So I will share you the collab file, and you can like Google. Also, you can Google the things, or I have one. You can use one trick in ChatGPT that if you are not understanding any concept, you write what is so and so, and then write explain like I am 5. It ChatGPT explains the concept very beautifully if you use this. Use explain like I'm 5, and ChatGPT will give a very basic overview of what you're trying to achieve.
Sir, can you mention some of the YouTube playlists that we can access for learning pandas and other Seaborn libraries?
Yesterday I shared you some thing from Kaggle, right?
Yes, sir. Kaggle.
Yeah.
Kaggle datasets.
No, Kaggle Learn.
Kaggle Learn, yeah.
Yeah. So Kaggle Learn, basically what it you can have some micro courses on that. You will you can have a hands-on practice in there. You can learn things in Kaggle Learn only. So like whatever basics I have picked up, I have picked from Kaggle Learn itself.
So then
So,
can you provide the links of that exact courses?
Yeah, sure. I will provide after my class. I will provide. I will send a mail with everything you need.
And we have to submit by 10th Jan 1.1 to 1.3 and assignment 2 also.
Yes, try first try assignment 1. If there is any and first see the assignment 2, because assignment 2 is same as assignment 1, like what we did. Just the data set is different.